I told you there was a man who built a hotel not to welcome guests, but to trap them? A hotel filled with secret passageways, airtight vaults, and even rooms designed to suffocate victims to death. His name was H.H. Holmes, America's first documented serial killer. And he wasn't just any murderer. He was a twisted genius. A man who used his charm and intellect to lure people to their deaths in ways that would shock the world. Behind the smiling facade of a wealthy entrepreneur was a monster whose crimes were so horrifying, they remain etched in history. In today's video, we're unraveling the dark and disturbing life of H.H. Holmes, exploring every chilling detail of his rise, his crimes, and the twisted mind behind America's murder castle. Stay tuned, because the truth is far more terrifying than fiction. Herman Webster Mudgett, known infamously as H.H. Holmes, wasn't born a monster, or was he? Born in 1861 in the quiet town of Gilmanton, New Hampshire, Holmes grew up in a seemingly ordinary family. But beneath the surface, there was a fascination with the macabre, a thirst for control, and a complete lack of remorse. Over his lifetime, Holmes would construct a web of lies, fraud, and death that would lead him to become one of the most notorious figures in American history. But to truly understand the man behind the monster, we must start at the very beginning. Herman was a bright and curious child, but his curiosity often veered into the disturbing. Some accounts suggest that he was bullied at school, with one particularly infamous story involving older students forcing him to touch a human skeleton. While this might terrify most, young Herman was fascinated. This moment may have sparked his lifelong obsession with death and anatomy. Holmes was also manipulative from an early age, using his charm and intelligence to deceive people around him. By the time he entered high school, he was already known for being cold and calculating, a boy who viewed people as pawns in his games. Holmes attended the University of Michigan's medical school, where his brilliance truly shone. But so did his dark side. He quickly realized he could profit from the medical field in ways others wouldn't dare. Holmes began stealing cadavers from the university and using them in fraudulent insurance schemes, faking accidental deaths to collect money. In 1886, Holmes moved to Chicago, a city brimming with opportunities during the industrial boom. But Holmes wasn't interested in building a legacy of success. He had far darker ambitions. He purchased a plot of land and began constructing what would later be known as the Murder Castle. On the surface, it appeared to be a hotel meant to capitalize on the influx of visitors for the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition. But behind its walls lay a labyrinth of horrors. The castle was a nightmare brought to life. Holmes designed the building with secret passageways, soundproof rooms, and staircases leading nowhere. Some rooms were equipped with gas jets, allowing Holmes to suffocate his victims at will. Others were designed to trap and starve his prey. Beneath it all was a basement that served as a makeshift morgue, where he dissected bodies and burned remains in a custom-built crematorium. Holmes primarily targeted young women, often luring them with promises of employment, romance, or a better life. Once they entered the castle, they were at his mercy. He used his charm to gain their trust. But once they were trapped, he showed no mercy. Holmes would gas his victims, lock them in airtight vaults, or lead them to dead-end staircases where they would be trapped. The sheer efficiency and cruelty of his methods were staggering. To the outside world, he was a successful businessman. Inside the castle, he was a merciless predator. The 1893 World's Columbian Exposition brought millions of visitors to Chicago, and Holmes saw an opportunity to expand his sinister operations. He advertised the castle as a hotel for fairgoers, luring unsuspecting tourists into his web. Many visitors checked in, but few checked out. Holmes used the chaos of the fair to cover up his crimes, disposing of victims without drawing suspicion. Holmes's undoing came not from murder, but from greed. His fraudulent schemes caught the attention of law enforcement, and in 1894, he was arrested for insurance fraud. During their investigation, authorities uncovered the horrifying truth about the murder castle. As evidence piled up, Holmes's calm facade began to crack, and the extent of his crimes came to light. Holmes confessed to 27 murders, but investigators believed the true number was far higher. He described his crimes in chilling detail, showing no remorse. On May 7, 1896, H.H. Holmes was hanged. Even in death, he remained a mystery, requesting to be buried in concrete to prevent grave robbers from desecrating his body. Today, the murder castle no longer stands, but its legacy of terror remains. Holmes is often called America's first serial killer. But was he truly the first, or just the first to be caught? His story raises chilling questions about the nature of evil and the thin veneer of civility that can hide a monster. Holmes was a man who turned human ingenuity into a weapon of terror. His story serves as a chilling reminder that evil can hide in plain sight. If you found this deep dive into his life as haunting as we did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to uncover more dark and mysterious tales. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.